Welcome to Inside Games, the only gaming news show brave enough to complain about getting a game like Starfield through Game Pass.
Yeah, how ungrateful, right? Xbox is out here trying something radically new and trying to save us some money, selling us access to full $70 AAA games on launch day for a paltry $17 subscription.
But, Lawrence, are they? Really? Are they? From our perspective, Bethesda's using a semantic loophole to charge Game Pass customers for actual day one access. And if this becomes commonplace, it'll invalidate the whole point of Game Pass.
Yeah, or we'll just end up spending a lot more money than we think we are, which is how these always go, right?
Yep.
But let's cover the basics of the story real quick. As you probably know, the very highly anticipated Starfield is scheduled to release next month. This is the first original IP from Bethesda in forever, really. It comes out September 6th for Xbox Series X and S, as well as PC.
And if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you get it for free on day one, since Bethesda is now a Microsoft studio. That's a great deal.
Yeah, we all celebrate the lift of Microsoft buying everyone in the world.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Day one isn't actually day one. It's actually day 5. Because they're selling 5 days early access. You just have to buy the premium edition upgrade for $35. Though, Game Pass subscribers do get that 10% off.
All right.
That's cool.
So that means that there's a window where the game is out, but Game Pass will not let you play it. And I promise you, everyone is going to see this when everyone and their mother is streaming Starfield early access. And you're not going to be able to play it.
Yep, they can write on that. Or if it's like, oh, it's out now, you go to your Xbox and then it hits you with the window. Nope, you got to pay $30. I think in that moment, that impulsive moment, people probably will. So in other words, if we just kind of like take the semantic label off, day one is actually August 31st. That's the day you can pay money and download and play Starfield. Game Pass only allows you to play the game later.
Yeah, that's right. It's a sign that while Game Pass is still an amazing value, we absolutely acknowledge that. Offering access to Microsoft exclusives on the release day, day one they call it. Microsoft is now trying to squeeze a little extra out of those subscribers. And by the way, $35, $30, whatever, that's nothing to sneeze at.
So yeah, we see this all as a big semantic loophole that allows Microsoft to still charge Game Pass subscribers for a huge new exclusive. And all this is after rising the price of Game Pass, which sucks twice over.
This has happened once before with Microsoft, and it looks like it's about to happen tons more. So we'll cover the past and the future of this trend after a quick word from our sponsor, the Oregon Trail. Inside Games is brought to you by the Oregon Trail. You know it, you love it, just like I do when I played it way back when I was 5 years old. This is a modern twist on the trials and tribulations of the road to Oregon. It's the official successor to the global phenomenon, and it'll immerse players in exhilarating journeys ranging from the historically accurate to the completely wild. Now, of course, you'll probably get dysentery. I didn't, but I got cholera. Little tip for you, if it says 64% chance of fording that river, you're gonna make it, because I did. Every time, 10 times out of 10, 64%. Guaranteed. The game will be released as an Xbox Play Anywhere game on August 22nd with a limited offer of 20% off. That's available for only 1 week until August 28th. Xbox Play Anywhere means you can play it both on Xbox or on Windows PC. So if you bought the game on the Microsoft Store, you can now download it on your Xbox for free. And it has cross-platform saves as well. And the Cowboys and Critters DLC was only available for the Nintendo Switch or your PC, but now it's available for the Xbox at $5. So please click the link in our description. It's right below. Download the Oregon Trail. Buy it as an Xbox Play Anywhere game for 20% off until August 28th. I gotta say, back when I played this game 30 years ago, I don't think I ever imagined that I would be sponsored by the Oregon Trail.
All right, everybody back in the wagon. Nobody fell out in the river. Nobody got dysentery. Good. All right, let's get going.
All right, as we were saying, Microsoft has charged for early access, in quotes, once before. In 2021, Forza Horizon 5 was also free on day one on Game Pass. But if you wanted to play it a few days early, you had to buy a $100 premium edition or pre-order a premium DLC bundle.
I'm so mad. I was so mad. I forgot about that too. I blocked it out. But yeah, they got me. I really wanted to play Forza 5. I hate hating it, but also falling for it every time. And it's no surprise because I and everyone else are falling for this shit. The tactic is gaining popularity with other publishers in recent years. It wasn't popular the first time around, though. That's kind of interesting to see. Way back in 2015, Square Enix pissed off pretty much everybody. And they're pretty good at doing that, especially back then. When they locked early access to Deus Ex Mankind Divided behind a premium edition. And they actually abandoned it after there was a huge outcry from players.
Oh, interesting. Battlefield 2042 players were also mad after EA let players who pre-ordered more expensive editions to play the game a full week early. That was me. I did that. It's a big deal for a multiplayer shooter, especially because that meant if you paid more, you got a big head start. And I did. And I loved it.
Yeah, but that led to some calling it a dirty tactic to charge players to access a game early.
But the outcry for Starfield kind of seems minimal here. Nobody's really upset about it over on that Starfield subreddit. In fact, folks seem uncharacteristically excited to pay more for what amounts to arbitrarily gated content.
Yeah, I guess it's just the power of rebranding something. It's not more expensive to start, it's early access. And then the apparent acceptance of this practice means it's not going to stop anytime soon. It's taken off. Microsoft is already doing something similar later this year with Forza Motorsport, releases in October. They're advertising the ability to play up to 5 days early when you buy a premium add-on bundle.
While there's probably some grumbling, we haven't seen the kind of backlash to Starfield's premium-only early access that we saw 8 years ago with Deus Ex. So it's working. They're wearing us down.
Yep, they got it through. It's pretty much the standard now. This is pretty cool here. Pure Xbox took a poll of more than 1,600 readers, and 29% say they'd buy the premium upgrade even though they already had Game Pass.
Oh, wow. However, an almost equal total, 26%, said, quote, paying for early access is silly.
It kind of is, but I still want to do it.
Of course, of course.
It is really fun to see how gamers' attitudes have changed, though. This is a sales tactic, the exact same tactic that brought widespread backlash 8 years ago. Now people just kind of accept it as just the way things are done.
Yeah, this has extra ominous implications for the next few years of Xbox as well. They just announced a new cloud streaming deal with Ubisoft in an attempt to clear their Activision Blizzard merger in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, this move just adds more momentum to the acquisition actually going through. And that should be a good thing. It should bring Activision's entire catalog and tons of value to Game Pass.
Only Activision has been very aggressive in charging for those pre-release access. Well, I mean, they are. That's what they do. Diablo 4 sold an early access window through its $90 digital deluxe edition. Call of Duty games offer a week's early access to the campaign to encourage digital pre-orders.
Yeah, so given that Activision's already dicing up their game releases to drive up purchase costs, basically make games more than $70, it's really easy to see them doing very similar things with paid access windows once their games are on Game Pass.
It's also easy to see the early access windows getting longer. So when does the term lose all meaning? When early access is a week or a month? I mean, like they could charge for 2 months early access. At that point, they're just releasing the game.
Yeah, right? And then you just wait for it to be on Game Pass later. And then it doesn't really mean anything because they just redefined what day one means.
Right.
Yeah, I think 5 days actually is probably the perceptive limit. If it's longer than that, if it's a week, then suddenly you're like, hey, wait a minute. That seems like a long time to not play it. Yeah. I think 5 is actually just like human beings, our brains. It's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. I guess it's not an extra weekend. That might be the big thing. Yeah,
that's true. All right, so we should reel it in here a bit, just a little bit. 5 days isn't that long to wait. It's really not. And it's still pretty cool to get Starfield as part of a subscription service. That's a big, big deal that you're paying $17 and you can play one of the biggest releases this year. It's not actually on the first day the game is out. It's not day one. It isn't. But that said, it's in the subscription service and it's a good deal.
Yeah, and that $35 minus 10%. You get more than just 5 days early access for that. It does include a digital art book, soundtrack, skin pack, and the undefined Shattered Space story expansion.
Well, now I'm going to buy it.
You have to.
I know, it's true. So there's actual content behind this purchase. Eventually. I mean, you'll get to it, even if really nobody knows what it is yet. But, I mean, you'll get to it.
Yeah, story expansion. You can't not play a story expansion. We have to shout out, too, there are examples of games doing early access on Game Pass, except it's actually early access. It's not just a semantic trick to charge more for a game. Grounded and Sea of Thieves, I think, are two very good examples of games that they hit the service early. It is an early access title, and you get to see these games mature over time. But it's not 5 days window where they get to charge you $40 for it. So it's weird that the same term is put on both, even though they mean vastly different things.
So we're already seeing the erosion of what was supposed to make Game Pass such an exceptional deal in the first place. You have to pay $17 a month on top of $30 for actual day one access for games. Are you really saving any money? You're paying almost $50 there to play the game when it actually is playable.
Yeah. 2 months of Game Pass and one early add-on bolt-on, that's the cost of the game. And if you don't pay Game Pass on month 3, you lose it. So I don't know. It's starting to like stack up. Unless Xbox can release more than like 4 premium games in a given year, I don't know that you come out ahead on the money anymore.
That's a really good point.
Presuming that they all have silly pre-release upgrades that you have to purchase, you know.
So Lawrence, I'm going to attempt to predict what people are going to say in the comments because everybody loves Starfield right now. Everyone loves it, and I'm very excited. I can't wait. I mean, if you know me, you know I'm very excited to play Starfield. I think a lot of people in the comments are going to be like, well, just don't buy it then. Just wait the 5 days. Now, here's the thing. I want you to use that logic for all of the other microtransactions that support free-to-play games and anything else that you don't need to pay for. I want you to use that same logic. I don't want to see comments from the same person that says, well, don't buy it. I want to see, but also I want to see that put towards Halo Infinite. Same deal, right? So, because that's what I always say. I'm always like, well, then just don't spend the money. If it bothers you, don't spend the money. So, make your voices heard by speaking with your wallet, but make sure you apply that logic to everything in gaming, not just the things that you like or don't like.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Bruce. I think people often use the injustice and the affront of purchases for games they don't like to get really offended. But if it's something they're into, they don't care, you know?
Of course.
A $20 skin seems like a lot unless you really like Ninja Turtles, and then it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's the same situation here. And honestly, like the free market is deciding they're okay with it after a couple of grumbles. I think publishers have long looked for a way to push the purchase price of a game above $60, and they figured out how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's by making it $90, but making it feel like it's not because it's early access. So
that's right. Yeah.
It's pretty clever, and I think a smart usage of like semantics and mental branding and image manipulation.
Yeah.
That's just how it is now. So I guess in the future as ever, you can save a lot of money if you're just a little patient.
That's right. And I love that Patient Gamer subreddit because it's true. We should all be a little more patient and not spend money as fast because then we will start telling these studios, hey, this isn't going to work on us. But for now, it's working and like gangbusters. So, be real careful.
Yeah, I'd kind of hoped that when Game Pass came out, I think like a lot of people when Netflix hit, they were like, the one thing I'll ever have to pay for. How simple.
Yeah.
And then it gets complicated real fast because the business kind of stagnates and they have to start finding ways to drive up that price, get more money out of your wallet. So I thought Game Pass was going to be, that's that, handled, never have to worry about it again. But now big games are going to have piecemeal purchases, the price is going up. You got to start shopping around again.
That's right. That's what happens. That's what the free market's all about. These patrons, we have an Inside Games Patreon, and these patrons support it every single month. These patrons actually sign up for and then cancel Game Pass every single time they play Halo. So anytime they fire up Halo, they sign up and cancel. Good for them. Zach the Hack, Brown Sugar, Dylan Hiley, Spirit Bear, and Rook, Captain Coldblood.
And I got some patrons that are always playing Halo for free because they're doing it in their minds. You don't have to pay Microsoft for that. Aaron Frace, Ricardo Lopez, Jared Watkins, Regulus, and Ian McGee battling on the mental field.
And here is the best meme ever for Modern Warfare 3, which we haven't reported on, but we need to.
They announced it though, so there it is.
Yeah, there it is.